disclaimer, drip is a life changer. Now all I do is chill and write bangers. Morph into the green like the White Ranger. Taking my block to the top just like Jenga. Danger, step on up and get roasted. I'm just trying to make some change like Drip Coach did. Posting like daily, put you under hypnosis. Fuck around with another dev and get ghosted. It's hopeless. We so bullish like Mike Jordan. All the fun fading away is quite enormous. Building a bridge, kinda like a chorus for those missing in action like Chuck Norris. Run for us, run away, don't come back. We stick together, on point like thumbtacks. Grab the Iron Man, they gone from one snap. Going hard for the network, that's a fun fact. Danger, step on up and get roasted. I'm just trying to make some change like Drip Coach did. Posting like daily, put you under hypnosis. Fuck around with another dev and get ghosted. It's hopeless. Step on up and get roasted. I'm just trying to make some change like Drip Coach did. Posting like daily, put you under hypnosis. Fuck around with another dev and get ghosted. It's hopeless.
Yo, what up, everybody? Who we got in the building? Can you guys hear me? How are the levels? All of that. Check 1 2. Check. See, we got Crypto AO. Well, let's start at the top. Woo, Crypto. What up? Glad to see you guys holding it down in the VC. Crypto AO, pound a mound. What up, DVN? Oceanic Estates. Joe, Senor Rojo. Bill B and Team King. What up? You guys, can you hear me? Before I bring Matt in, let me know if you can indeed hear me. I think Matt's in the building. I'm gonna have to check and make sure before we jump into this. Everything sounds Gucci. All right, what up, Game Manasios? Seen you in my chats as well. So let's see about making sure we get Matt in here, and it's going to be the default monitor, USB mic. Let's close that and see if Matt jumps in the building. What up? We hit those all-time highs, man. The BTC smashing through and then pulling back, of course. But that is an exciting day. So I remember I was talking to somebody in my chat saying that we would see this before the halving, and they're like, no way. I was like, do the math, man. 16 times more demand than the supply is currently available, and plenty of people bought the lows, so they're gonna sell. Now once they're in, who knows what happens with TradFi and all that money. I have no idea how they can shake things up, but in order to like short the charts and stuff, they're gonna have to bring in more capital. So at least for now, I think it said 69K was the all-time high earlier today. So I guess it depends on what chart. So it seems as though they just ran it straight up and pulled it back. But I think on some charts, this is the all-time high. I know once we break 70, it will be no discussion. But depending on what chart you get into, is like 67, 68, whoever was reporting it. So I'm counting it. What about you guys? Audio good, can hear you. Senor Rojo, what up, Coach? John 316, Mike Crypto Cuban, what up? WJ, DripX, VC carrying this live too. Yeah, you guys been holding down for like 8 days straight, minus the hiccup. Let me see. I don't see Matt. Where is he? I'm pretty sure I turned this on. It says collab cam. Let's unhide and hide again, and then let me check the settings. See if he's there. Oh, there he is. My bad. He's been hiding in the back. I told you guys I don't do this enough, man. I just click over on the screen and there he is sitting there waiting on me. All right, Matt, you can hear me, right? Give me a nod. I know you can. I see you mouthing back there. All right.
Yeah. I hear you pretty good.
There we go. You guys see him now? I think we got Matt on screen and he can hear me. You guys can see him, right? Let's see. It should have showed up. There's a little delay. I didn't realize. I thought when I hit accept automatically, it would have just popped you in. Let's make sure everybody. I see you on the live on the YouTube side. Okay. So yeah, so it looks like we're good. We're good. Just hiding in the back, man. And probably was talking to me or something. I couldn't hear you because I'm still not that savvy with Streamlabs. I'm working on it though. You give me the practice.
Yeah, it's all good. I like using. I don't know if you ever use StreamYard as well. It's a pretty good one. There's a couple
I think I had it installed and never got around to messing with it. I went straight with, I had that first, I think, and then my old computer crashed. And then when I came here and was setting back up, I couldn't remember what to install, and Stream was the only thing I could remember. And StreamYard was the first thing that popped in my head. Or Streamlabs was the first thing, and then I forgot about StreamYard. Yep.
Yeah. No, it's all good. As long as we hear everything works, it's all good.
Yeah, it looks like it. So how you been, man? You excited about the new all-time high and got a little relaxation from all this stuff over the past 12 days?
Yeah, man, it's been a roller coaster of emotions, to say the least. But things are looking good, man. I'm really excited about the Bitcoin all-time high, bro. It's crazy. It doesn't even feel like it, to be honest. It's just like it came out of nowhere.
Right.
Came out of nowhere. But
yep.
Hey, it's good for the space. It's good for DeFi. So
yeah, for sure.
Bring it on. Take it to new levels, please.
Yeah, no doubt. So what's your projection by the halving coming up here? There's the halving clock. They got it on CoinDesk. Let me pull that up. I think it's like 40 some odd days or something like that. 47, 42, man. 43.
Man, any projection would literally just be pulling something out of my ass.
Hey, isn't that all we do?
I mean, at its current trajectory, man, I think it could probably get to around 75 or so, if it keeps up with this pace. But, who knows, man? I know a lot of people have been speculating on that 100K for some time. So, I think we'll hit it maybe sometime this year. But I don't know. Before April, trending the way we are now, I think it could get around 70, 75, somewhere in there.
Okay. By April, 70, 75. I can see that. Looks like somebody said you're a little quiet. I got you up all the way on my side, and I hear you fine in my headset. But if you can pump up the volume anywhere, you're actually getting into the yellow and red whenever I hear you talk. So maybe it's just one person. Any of you other guys hear Matt as quiet? I saw only one person from Bosch saying that. I got you. I got you, Lima Charlie, man. Yeah, Lima Charlie.
Tried to crank it up on the mic a little bit.
Yeah, I think it sounds good. It was just one person so far, so we'll just roll with it.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that too, man. I'm not sure. So what do you think about like how this is all going to shape up? Because I forgot who else listened to. Kathy Wood or somebody else was saying that they don't even have the approvals from like the big banks yet. So it's like, okay, the ETF is there, but she was talking about whatever her firm does for managing, like she mentioned Wells Fargo, she mentioned Bank of America, and she mentioned one other big one. And she's like, they haven't even come to the table yet. Like they money ain't even in here yet. I was like, well, damn.
That's saying something, right?
Right. So I don't know. Like on the one hand, yeah, it's exciting, but on the other, we know what Wall Street does. So it's kind of cautious as well,
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, overall it's good, man. You start to hear a lot more people talking about it. I'm at restaurants over here. My radars go off. I hear Bitcoin. I'm like,
right.
It's good. People talking about it. Of course, big money is going to follow. What they do with the market, who knows? But I think overall, especially being involved in the DeFi space, Bitcoin starting to move, some of the other altcoins starting to move, Ethereum, BNB. I'm heavy on post-chain. So post-chain being a layer 2 on Ethereum.
Right.
Ethereum starting to move. That's really good for post-chain. So I'm all here for it, man. I hope it continues. It's been a long time, coming for a lot of us. Waiting for these times to 2.5 years, I would say.
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
I'm hoping everybody's in good position to be able to take advantage of it. So
no doubt. Did ETH get ATH as well? What was
I don't know.
38? No. Oh, okay. Yeah, damn, ETH was near 5K. Okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's got a little while.
BNB, I think, has a little trek too. I think BNB got up to like 600 or so.
670 is what I'm remembering. Let's see. 690. Okay, depends on the chart. Yeah. So and those hit before. So it was that double top that we had last cycle, because those popped before the Bitcoin peak. Yep.
So we still got a little room in there to dabble. You know,
for sure.
If you haven't already been accumulating, you know, here's a little wake up.
Right. Yep. This is the one, man. This is definitely the one. Like what everybody's been waiting on, and now with all the approvals, all the FUD out of the way, all the who knows what's gonna happen with Gensler and all that stuff, but just the fact that they got the approvals for the ETF, and talking about, from what I heard, ETFs for Ethereum later on this year. So, and moving forward with not stable coins. Well, maybe the Toomey Act for stable coins, but more so CBDCs. So they really trying to line everything up to get, you know, TradFi positioned to dominate and make some money off of this. So all the paperwork is there, and it's an election year. So the narrative is there for sure.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yep. I think that's what's actually driving it, to be honest, man. This was all pre-orchestrated, man. You know, you had the FUD and all that stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, election year, they get this approved, and they have been pushing back on the ETFs over and over and over again, man. They know the game they playing. This ain't nothing new.
For sure.
All right. Well, let's get into the meat and potatoes, what people really want to know about. You know, this is my channel has always been all about drip. What about drip? And now it's kind of like, what about DripX? That's the new hype. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about what's going on, man. So you guys launched, successful launch, man. Shout out to you guys. Like you said, like 170X did great. Right out the gate, everything's looking Gucci. All these pivots and changes y'all been doing, definitely transparent. The voice chat is on fire. So there's like tons of flowers, man, throwing you guys' way. Of course, you can't win them all long term. There's ups and downs, ebbs and flows. And that's where the sentiment is at right now, is one of those ebbs. So what's been going on behind the scenes with you guys and the team?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the last time we talked, it was pre-launch, right?
It was like 2 days before. It might have been this. 2 days before, or 1 day before, something like that.
Yeah, time goes by fast, man. especially in this DeFi space, bro. So things went really well. You know, as far as, you know, pretty much I would say as expected. You know, with the launch, of course, we set it up in a way where you know, there wasn't any inflation coming out for the first 8 days. You know, we expected a lot of trading. We expected a lot of staking. So a lot of money came into the staking payouts. So that was a win for the early stakers. We wanted to give those early stakers, people who bought the token early and sacrificed their tokens by staking them. A lot of them staked for, you know, the full length of time. So they got rewarded. A lot of people got their ROI in the first 8-day payout just off the staking. So that was really cool to see. So that was a win for us. And then of course we had the first 8 day where the miners expired. So that's when a lot of the inflation hit the chart. So we expected, you know, a lot of volatility there. Of course, I think we only launched with about 2 billion tokens. So we had just as many tokens coming out, maybe a little bit more, somewhere around that 2 billion mark, plus, you know, give or take a little bit more from the D-rate bonuses that some miners received. So we literally doubled, I would say, the supply that was in circulation on that 8 day, which, you know, of course, everybody saw that large red candle that came in. So, you know, with that, it brought a lot of emotions. A lot of people, you know, Twitter was on fire. The chat was on fire. Man, it was a lot to to all take in, for sure.
No doubt.
Definitely, you know, I put a lot of energy. I had to take a little chill from Telegram on the weekend just to kind of regroup myself. But, you know, all in all, it's good. It's what we expected. You know, a lot of people were talking about the liquidity. Liquidity, saying liquidity is low. Where we're going to get the money to pay some of the the miners, things like that. So, you know, we had some moves in mind. We kind of wanted to see where the chips fell after that first, day of inflation. So then we were able to kind of do some counter moves. We added some liquidity, stuff like that. So, it's been good. It's been like I said, a lot of emotions, a lot of ups and downs, but just steering the ship, getting into a nice cruising altitude, I would say.
Right,
and then,
right.
From there, we're primed to take off.
Okay, so you guys, we're still looking at the Viper X mechanics coming into play. What can you give us on that regarding implementation, and if any other changes to that prior to implementation have been made?
Yeah, so I guess just to kind of touch on some of the things that we've done to this point, we had with our V1, we pretty much hit our goal as far as the funds that we got into the buy and burn pool V1. We got around, at the time it was around $2.4 million. We wanted to, our goal was to maybe get around $2 million. So we exceeded our goal there. So what we did was we actually took about $400K and we put that into liquidity. So that was a really big move for us. Basically, that thought process behind that, the team was thinking about, okay, we have a lot of money coming out. There's a big bottleneck with Wrap Drip. So all the money can't come out at the same time through Wrap Drip. So we need to add liquidity. We couldn't add it to Wrap Drip, of course, because that would, $400,000 would just send Wrap Drip through the high heavens, right? That would be met with even more sell pressure. So we couldn't really add the liquidity to the Wrap Drip. So we did it to BNB. So that was kind of the thought process behind that. We added the BNB. Something kind of weird happened when we did that. I don't know what the deal was. It wasn't expected, but Pancake Swap, when we added liquidity to DripX BNB, Pancake Swap inverted the DripX Wrap Drip pair. So now when you see it, sometimes you might see it on the chart. It'll say Wrap Drip DripX. So the pair is inverted. That kind of threw a curveball our way. It kind of messed up the price of the token on the UI. So some people might have seen it for a quick second, where the token on the UI looked like the price was like at 1 cent.
Oh, okay, okay.
So what we had to do was we had to change the UI to where it's showing the price of the DripX BNB pair. And then the buy and burn has to support that price, because the price in regards to the APRs are based off of what the DYOR is. So, the higher price of the token, the larger your return on investment. The lower the price, the lower. So we needed to turn the buy and burn to be able to support the price on the UI. So that's where a lot of people saw it. A lot of people were kind of asking what happened. I thought the buy and burn was going through Wrap Drip. So that was kind of something that was a little unexpected on our end. Through Pancake Swap was a little different. They inverted the pair, which was a little weird. But what we've decided to do, because we still want to support Drip and Wrap Drip. After we added that liquidity, we did also add more liquidity to the Wrap Drip BNB pair, and we also have been using the V3 fees, the revenue from V3, to be able to add more liquidity into the DripX Wrap Drip pair as well. So we've been kind of using that to support. We got some other ideas as well that we can continue to support, and it's been really good for the volume of Drip and Wrap Drip. It's been helping the tax vault with the Drip. There hasn't been any inflation. I think for maybe 10 days now, 9 or 10 days.
It's closer to 12 at this stage now. Yep.
Yeah, so that's been tremendous, for helping Drip with its deflationary aspect. And then we're also creating another arbitrage opportunity between the two DripX pairs. So that's been really good. So that was one of the big things that we did by adding liquidity. Now the token is really strong. It allows for money from the miners to flow through, allows for people to trade the token freely, which is really good for volume and people who are adding liquidity as well, trading through the V3 on Pancake Swap. So that's been really good. One thing we've also been kind of doing is playing with the daily capacity. That was one thing that we had at a little, I guess would say, like an update from Titanx to DripX. Is being able to adjust the daily cap. some things, we look at numbers, prior to things happening, we take a guess, and we extended a little bit because we didn't know where the price would fall pre-launch. So we upped it to 300 billion tokens. That filled the first 280 day filled up that threshold. But other than that, most of the days was right around 40 billion or so. Most of the the days that I guess the capacity that people have been hitting has been around 40 billion. So we reduced it to 100. We still saw that the cap wasn't really being met on certain days outside of that 8 day. So we've decided to lower it even lower just to kind of keep it tight. So it's right around 40 billion. So what we've been doing is we lowered that cap, lowered that daily capacity, and then we've been playing with the buy and burn, the V2. That's the pool that the community activates. We've been playing with it a little bit, just trying to get it to a good point where a lot of the miners are a little bit more profitable right now. So that way we can find a good cruising altitude between the buy and burn, the inflation that's coming out through the miners, and the new miners coming in. So those are some of the changes that we've made here recently.
Okay. And reference that, since you guys went with this new buy and burn at 2 BNB, so I had two questions for me that I kind of was running through the numbers and wondering how long, the sustainability of this. So mathematically, this can't run at this clip without new capital coming in to stake, right? So I looked at this when I ran this out. It's about 15 days for this runway. So what are the team looking at in that regard for the future? Because obviously this can't stay there, and you can't forecast or guarantee new stakes coming in. So what's the short-term game, I guess you could say? So
the idea with it was to ramp it up, because we were dealing with a lot of sell pressure from the first few miners coming out. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to get it to a place where the price is at a good point, which we like it in the 3. It's pretty nice in the 3. So it's in the 3 or 3.1, maybe 3.2, depending on the time of watching the video. So that's been a point where we feel like it's where I guess you could say a lot of the shorter term miners around 15, 16 days and up are profitable. So we wanted to get to the price to where it's in that range. So that way, when people are making miners, they're in a good range. And then from there, we can kind of scale back the BNB. So right now it's just more so just to kind of support the, get people out of that hole a little bit, I would say. Okay. Kind of support that price, get the price to where it's in a good spot, and then we kind of scale it back a little bit to where the money coming in matches the the amount coming out in the buy and burn. I think around 1 BNB, we've kind of seen it pretty stable. So we'll adjust over the next. We want to do this 2 BNB for 48 to 72 hours or so. To really support the price and get it to a nice point, and then we can kind of scale it back a little bit for more sustainability. Okay, so you guys are gonna look at evaluating this again in a couple of days, basically. Yeah. So right now it's been a little over 24 hours right now, going maybe somewhere between 24 and 36 hours since we've had it right now. So yeah, it's been doing really well. It kind of hit that. I guess it gave it that jump start that it needed to kind of break that threshold within the 3s. So that's kind of where we're analyzing it right now to see where that is. Yeah. Yeah. Mathematically at this price, and I'm guessing you guys probably ran that as well, but just for people watching, this actually, when you do this number by the hour is about 1.5 billion tokens at the current price of BNB. So at the end of a 24-hour period, you guys are burning almost 40 billion, which is what you guys set the cap at. Was that intentional? And correct. Just temporary? Okay. Just to try to get everything balanced out. Correct. So that was the idea in mind. Exactly. Okay. And then now it's to see how the moves are being made. So with that in mind, or I guess kind of piggybacking off of that, I did look at some of the moves already. So I kind of mentioned this to you before, behind the scenes reference. What I think was going to happen going forward is that if mining is not
profitable or advantageous, then people would just hodl the tokens and then wait to dump. Now, ironically, already, I don't know who this is. I'm not tracking their wallet or anything like that. I don't have it labeled, but I did have my old video. They were sitting at around 11 billion, closer to 12 billion. So the liquidity and the buy and burn that's being added is causing people to make moves. So is that something you guys are trying to push people towards doing inadvertently? Like, what's the actual play that you guys are looking for sustainability factor? Is it to have more tokens locked up in the contracts and people actually not just hodling in the wallet and increasing that inflation? Or do you want it just to be organic, kind of let the market decide? And if you end up with, 300 billion sitting in people's wallets, so be it.
Yeah, so you really kind of have to understand the idea behind the token and what it does. Ultimately, the way that the users are able to generate profitable income is through the miners. So it makes more sense to get miners. Now, I know a lot of people, of course, wanted to do short-term miners within the first 8 days. It was a lot of price action. The APRs were crazy. We had to see kind of where the market set itself. So a lot of people, who did that may have come out unprofitable because they were I guess kind of maybe getting ahead of themselves a little bit as far as, trying to make it, rich in the first 8 days. So if you're staking for, 30 days or so, let me see where it's at right now. If you're staking for, 30 days, you're putting in, $400 on a max power BNB, $413, you're coming out with $781. So from that, you're pretty profitable within the first 30 days. It's not really a token that you really want to hold because more tokens are coming into circulation on a daily basis. So it's not really a hodl token. You want to leverage that.
I want to put a pin in that real quick to understand this then. So you're saying, so the way that this is set up is supposed to be profitable to do miners. So a 30-day miner, $400 at 30 days from now is roughly $781 at the current price. But to realize that appreciation, you have to sell those DripX tokens, right?
Yeah, you either sell or you go into the staking protocol. So the staking, of course, from people creating miners, some of the distribution of the BNB goes into the staking pool. So some people are going to stake those tokens. Some people are going to, take profit from the miners. Some people are going to do a combination of both. But hodling the token really isn't like a profitable strategy because, again, there's going to be more tokens coming into circulation every day. So you have to keep up with the demand. So you can do a combination of both. So some people are going to take profits. Maybe they took, a couple $100 off the top, and then they're going to create more miners. So that's going to continue to feed the ecosystem. So that's the whole the basis behind the ecosystem. I guess you could say the lifeblood of the ecosystem is going to be people creating miners.
Right. So, but I guess I'm still kind of missing the link between, so you create the miners, but if there's no incentive to lock those miners up in the stake, and what you just stated was that it's profitable after 30 days, but these are dashboard divs or realized if the token price stays the same and they sell it on the open market, and then those DripX tokens are put on the market versus put into the staking contract. So if miners is the first play, where's the incentive for people to actually move it over into BNB payouts? That's what I've been seeing in the comments, that BNB payouts are getting diluted from more people moving into the miners, staking, sorry.
Yeah. So the way that staking works is that you have shares. So, if you're looking to just stake one time, of course, over time, you're going to get less shares. Mm-hmm. So we're looking right now, there's $500,000 in the 28-day payout cycle. I think this next 8 days getting close to about $50,000 that's in that payout cycle. So there's incentive to be able to get a share of that pool, of that $500,000. So that's where the incentive comes to stake your tokens. Now, as more people come into that staking pool, again, your share of the pool is going to go down. And it's very similar to like if you were providing liquidity on PancakeSwap and you were just farming. Right. If more people come into that farm, the APRs come down, your share of the pool is less, you're going to get less yields. Similar scenario. So it's something where you do have to keep up with your shares if you're staking. And then, staking for the length of time, the way that it's designed, you're going to get more shares, you're going to get more bonuses the longer you stake and the more that you stake. So that's the incentive for miners. So because you can get more tokens through mining than you would, let's just say, you wanted to market buy the tokens from the DEX right now, you get more tokens through mining for a certain period of time, and that way you're able to increase your the amount that you stake. So that's the basis behind it. So you want to mine because you get more tokens that way, and then you'll be able to stake more tokens. So you could do you could do a combination of where you either you're staking the tokens. Maybe you create certain miners with the intention to stake those tokens. Maybe you create miners with intentions to take profit from that particular miner. So that's where different strategies may come into play, based on the user and what they would like to do.
Okay. All right. So yeah, as of right now, I guess it just depends on the person's strategy or vision, long term, short term, and what they want to do. So if they're looking to just kind of day trade, swing trade the token off of any of the pumps, like I showed you with the person that was sitting at 11 billion and clearly sold some with the liquidity injection you guys did, or if they're looking at the future of what DripX could be and the buy and burns and how this shapes up and just collecting the BNB payouts, those people are going to be more focused on the longer term miners and stakes. So you got basically both opportunities here, and then you guys are trying to balance the scales in between, right? Making all these changes and stuff like that to make both parties happy.
So for us, we want to find a happy level with the price. If the price kind of stays within a certain range, that's going to keep miners profitable. If miners are profitable, that'll have people wanting to make them. And then that, ultimately enters more BNB into the system, which disperses it more to the stake and payouts, the buy and burn, which continues to support the price. So, that's the biggest thing for us on the back end is just, taming the inflation, not allowing too much to come out to be able to maintain that price, and when that happens, everything kind of falls into line.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got you. I'm still playing the game as per the default instructions, I guess you could say, and adding my stakes my miners as they come available, and just reserving judgment till this plays out a little further, because to me right now it's still too early. Of course, like you guys said, you guys engineered from the get-go a lot of positive price action, and of course with all that there's going to be people that take profits and dump the charts, but now you've found a level amount that you're happy with. So I guess now it's just a matter of evaluating what's going to happen for these next couple of cycles and the changes and stuff you guys are going to implement. So with that, again, back to ViperX, when does that actually go live? What's the projected for that?
So I guess we'll go ahead and drop some alpha. So it's Viper. Yeah.
Viper. Oh yeah. My bad. Not ViperX.
Yeah. So we're going to be dropping Viper. It's actually ready right now. It's done. We're going to be dropping it on Thursday. So you heard it first here on the channel. I keep getting nice. I drop some nice alpha on this channel, man.
I appreciate it. And those that tap in that have been following me, they appreciate it as well, I'm sure. I still have a strong group of just people wondering what about Drip. People are like, why don't you cover some other projects? I'm like, because the people watching my channel don't care about other projects. They can go other places for that. So they just want to know about Drip.
You definitely have a niche audience, so that's that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
You're able to give the content that the people want. So
basically, 2-week anniversary. 2-week anniversary. You're dropping Viper. Yeah,
we're going to be dropping it on Thursday. So the basis behind it, it's a new mechanic. So it's not really tinkering with anything that was already in place. It's just something new that we're adding in addition to what we have currently, something that we saw that we could, a problem, I guess a solution to a problem that we've seen, from Titanx and some of our early stages here and with DripX. And that's just, again, keeping the inflation low. So what Viper does, it gives you an opportunity to early stake within the staking payouts. So after 51% of your miner has expired, then you're able to pay a small fee. It's going to be 0.1 BNB. That fee is going to directly hit the chart. So that point one BNB is going to buy and then burn the chart. So that's going to be good for price action also. And then what happens with that, with Viper, once your stake is 51%, the amount of tokens that you would receive at its expiration date that you set, plus whatever D-rank bonuses that you have up to that given point, you're going to receive it all into a staking payout for the maximum length of 3,500 days. So essentially, those tokens are going to be out of circulation for 10 years, or you might even consider that to go ahead and be burned. So what that does, it just again, it kind of goes to that strategy where I was talking about, where some people are going to intentionally be able to create miners for the purpose of staking. And then what that does, it also pushes the payouts a little later, or not the payouts, but the daily capacity. It puts out people making longer term miners. So somebody who wanted, a miner to end in 30 days for staking, they may push that miner out now to 60 days. Because they're able to get, the same, benefits of the expiration date within the same time frame, and they're going to enter the staking pool. So that, again, that benefits people who are specifically looking to stake. It also benefits people who are maybe wanted to wait for the expiration, because people, there's going to be less tokens that could potentially come into the market. So that would make it more profitable for somebody who, maybe patiently waited for their miner to expire, because the token value may be at a higher value token because less tokens are in circulation. So that was a pretty simple solution that we came up with, a solution to a problem that we've seen for a little while. So we wanted to add that into addition to what we have here currently. And, that's how we came up with the idea behind Viper.
Okay, so let me break this down and make sure I got this right from looking at like my stakes, for example. So I see we have this progress bar. So is it going to automatically, so at 51%, then we'll see something else that says claim and stake or something like that? Or is this a thing we have to check on? Like, how will the user be notified? For example, this 27 days, a perfect example, that would be coming up around that time. So what would that look like for me in regards to claiming and staking for that long duration using Viper with that 0.1 fee?
Yeah, that's a good point. So, while we're here, also one small tweak that we did do just for convenience and a little bit more pleasure to the eye, I would say.
Commas.
I know you like those commas, right? Yeah, that's a team trademark. No commas. It makes you a little bit more engaged with the dashboard, right? You got to be like, is that 1, 2, 3 zeros?
Man, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
But no, one thing we did do was we with the ROI, we changed the formula so it'll include your D-rank bonuses. So a lot of people were saying, they were, I guess, down, like maybe at a negative ROI because they did a really short-term miner. And then that when they claimed, they were like, oh, it wasn't as bad as they thought because they had a lot of D-rank bonuses.
So this isn't including this. Somebody mentioned that. So this right here is not included in this ROI percentage.
It wasn't.
Currently.
It is now.
Oh, it is now.
It is
okay.
now. It is now. Yeah, it is now.
Okay.
So that was also something that we made that update yesterday.
Okay.
If you haven't pushed it or refreshed it, that's you want to do that because that is now included. So that was a small thing that we did. But in regards to Viper and what that will look like, you're going to come to your like same page like you have now, your managed staking.
Yep.
And there's going to be a new tab at the top. Right now it says, I think, like claimed or claimable or ended.
Yep.
It's going to be a new tab that says Viper. So so miners that are qualified for Viper will show up in that tab. And it's a nice button that pops out with the kind of reddish orange, kind of gives you like a fire-ish type of field color where you'll be able to click it and pay the fee and ultimately transfer that into the stake. So it's going to be really smooth within the UI. You'll find it right here in that manage miners tab.
Okay.
It'll just be another tab that you'll be able to click on and then ultimately Viper your stake.
So it'll just, once I click on that, it'll just show the ones that are eligible, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And even if I've gone well over, so it's not like you have to capture it at 51%. It can be anywhere from 51 to, 99, basically, right?
Correct. Correct. So,
Okay.
I was playing with some right now. Like I think I did like a 15-day stake. So that's around like 75 or 80%. That's already complete. So even though it's over the 51%, I'm still able to capture
Right.
that Viper mechanism if I choose to.
And reference that fee, is that 0.1 going straight into the V2 buy and burn, or is it split between both of these?
No, that's going to go directly onto the chart. So that's going to market buy the token. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Market buy, meaning it's going to be converted from BNB directly to WrapDrip and buy DripX with WrapDrip, or use BNB to buy it, like BNB to DripX directly?
It'll be BNB to DripX directly. So the
okay.
BNB, so it's kind of like a, again, it's like almost like a utility for the token. So for that service fee is going to directly benefit the market price of DripX.
And what happens to that DripX?
It gets burned.
Okay, so it is getting burned. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's cool. So that will be interesting to see. Yeah, this kind of putting a earmark in this to see what happens to the chart. Because, yeah, you guys, the changes you've made, we were up like 22% yesterday and now it's 9%. So kind of stamping this on this video to see once those changes are made, how many people make those moves. Obviously not that many are available, because like the bigger stakes, and I showed on stream that, the bulk of the people who are familiar with TitanX got into the long duration miners, 280 day and stuff like that. So there's not that many, but it will be interesting to see how that affects the charts and the changes you guys are making. Because that's one thing I'm definitely singing praise about, man. You guys are constantly out there in the mud and doing the work behind the scenes. And like you said, with the one you made with the changes here, even stuff that we may not even be aware of that you're making updates to. So definitely appreciate that. And you guys grinding it out. So that'd be cool to see. I'll play with it on stream.
For sure. So, that's kind of something we've been kind of hinting at, over the last week or so, giving people the opportunity to go ahead and make stakes now. Sometimes you don't really, it may not make sense until like things are right there. So I'm sure after Viper comes out, then people may have a little bit more urgency to create miners. So
right.
To your point, even though maybe some of the longer miners aren't necessarily going to be qualified for Viper just yet, it does incentivize people to go ahead and create miners, especially with the daily cap being a lot lower. So certain days are going to start to fill up. So, if you want to, for instance, if you want that 30-day miner creation, then you want to go ahead and, I guess get your spot now before that daily capacity for that day is reached. So again, that just kind of, incentivizes people to go ahead and lock in their specific days now, so that when the time comes, they're able to take advantage of the new Viper mechanic.
I see. So reference that. That's a great segue into some of the questions that I've seen on my chats. Like before it launched, you had a great pitch and the chart was a great entry tool and marketing for people looking at. Now, what's the pitch, I guess, or the how you explain this to people looking at DripX or saying, what is this? Why, compared to TitanX? How do you not necessarily convince them, but educate them on this being kind of a healthy thing when they look at the chart and the mechanics and things of nature that you guys are doing going forward? And specifically, a lot of people asking how this will benefit the minnows, the small fish trying to grow their bags and not essentially just be exit liquidity.
Yeah, I mean, so, everybody has the same opportunity. That's going to be crypto in general. It's like saying, how can I make some money on Bitcoin if I got, Wall Street going in on Bitcoin as well, right? You have the same opportunity to be able to buy the token with, the bag that you have. So just because somebody enters, with 5 BNB, you only have 1 BNB to enter, you stand the same chance to be profitable on that BNB. So it's just a matter of, educating people, understanding how this works. with the chart, you of course, like I guess your typical chart, you look at it, you see like a large red candle, like what we have, you'd be like, what's going on with the chart?
Right.
So
Right.
it's just a matter of educating people, helping them understand that, hey, the reason why you see this candle is because the token launched with a small supply. It works by introducing more tokens into the supply. So this was a huge supply shock. That's why you see that red candle, because a lot of tokens entered in to circulation. A lot of people took profit. So that candle, despite what people think, that candle means that a lot of people, made a lot of money. Right.
Right.
To be able to do that. So there's a lot of money that's being, made in here. Another big driving point is that liquidity pool. So we have a really strong liquidity pool now. So that also means that, that's an opportunity for people to make money. Big wallets, small wallets, that liquidity gives people an opportunity to be able to make that money. So from that, you have to, just educating people, understanding that. You can compare, other tokens with similar protocols, similar chart. So you have to understand that. And then, looking at the payouts, or not the payouts, but the mineable days, going in there and seeing, hey, 30 days, 45 days, I think around 45 or 46 days, you're at like 205% profit, in 45 days at the current price. And that doesn't include your principal. So you're basically potentially tripling the amount of BNB that you put in drip tokens within 35 days. So you look at those things and you're able to evaluate and ultimately make a decision for yourself. But that kind of, that looks a little bit more advantageous for somebody who might be entering the system on the potential on what they could potentially get, based on the current market value. So that's kind of how I would explain it. You also could look to the buy and burn. You still have, I think, 1.5 or so million dollars in the V2. That's the community activated one. After we roll out Viper, our next, priority or line of business is to rehypothecate that V1. So we want to start farming yields to bring in external revenue to support the ecosystem. Something, the community, I tell you what, me and Eric kind of have been joking a little bit, but our DMs and messages are, there's no shortage of ideas. So,
yeah, no doubt.
A lot of people, have, different ideas, opinions. Something that actually came up from the community yesterday. We got word from the VC. It wasn't exactly this, but we were able to tweak it to where it makes sense. But as we look to rehypothecate the V2 pool,
right,
and farm those yields, what we can do is actually create miners with those yields. So what that will do is that will also feed the staking payouts. And that will also fill in gaps within some of the shorter mining days. So basically, of course, we wouldn't be claiming those tokens. So those are tokens that wouldn't come out in circulation. Those would just be, I guess you can kind of say, like dead miners, so to speak. But that would essentially, again, feed the staking payouts. So there's more BNB in the payouts for stakers. That's going to also feed the buy and burn pool. So that's one way that we intend to leverage the V2, or excuse me, the V1 buy and burn.
Yeah. Right.
So that'll be taking place shortly after we launch Viper. We'll look to make some of those moves.
And speaking of the rehypothecation, because I did this on my stream as well, and I'm not sure where you guys were planning on rehypothecating, but the math that I came up with on PancakeSwap is that it's like $1,000 or $1,500 or so over a 30-day period. Does that sound about right?
$1,500 for 30 days?
Yeah.
No, that's pretty low. It really depends on the farms that you choose. There's a lot of different farms. PancakeSwap in particular, I know there's like a USDT BNB.
Oh, okay. So you guys were converted. Okay. I was just looking at straight up at wrap BNB, which was just a single staking wrap BNB.
Yeah. So something like that, it really wouldn't put any dent at all into
Right.
the project. So we would go with something more of like a LP pair, so it'd be more of a farm
Okay.
instead of
Okay.
a single pool, and
Okay.
those APRs are a little bit more attractive. So they have plenty of different ones.
I see. Yep. Yeah, those
So
are much better.
yeah, we're taking a look at those. We're looking at some other options also, on some other reputable farms, and just seeing what might provide the least level of risk, but also the highest level of return. So I've estimated in some farms that we could potentially be farming up to around 30K a week with the amount of capital that we have.
Okay.
So that would be, that capital, we may use a small percentage to continue to compound and grow that pool. But majority of that, weekly capital that we're able to get could potentially go back into the miners, again, which will distribute the BAB amongst all the staking payouts and also strengthen the V2 buy and burn pool.
Okay. Are you guys, whenever, I know it's after Viper, so that's maybe a couple weeks out or whatever, but are you guys going to post where you're farming, what pools it is, transparency wise, or is that something we just have to dig on the blockchain and look at where that V1 has been allocated? So
yeah, we'll definitely make an announcement to let people know where exactly we've decided to farm. There is going to be some logistics where, as far as moving the funds, so we'll at some point we'll probably have to pull the funds out of that V1 contract.
Right.
So that might be something, I know a lot of people keep on it. Where did the money, the money go? So that's, that's something that we may have to, I guess a short-lived deal where we'll be able to pull those funds. So we're going to make it in a way where there'll still be, we'll be able to pull data from the farm that we select, so people can still see the value that's being farmed. So it's kind of like we'll create, I guess, something for the user interface on that same buy and burn tab, where people will still be able to track it and see how much value is there. And then we'll also be notifying people where we're farming, how much rewards are being sent back into miners and things like that. It should create for some good content. We could maybe even you could create, do streams and stuff of, going through the process where there's, bridging funds or depositing into contracts, creating miners. So that'll be fun content that, the community can get engaged in. We'll, have a layer of transparency so people can see what we're doing. And then ultimately, all the transactions are on the blockchain, so we can share those also. So no worries in that regard. Yeah, because I know that's at least for me and the people on my community, the transparency and the rehypothecation. We've heard these terms kicked around, and how much was supposed to be mine or not mine, but generated, but never really saw any of those funds. So I want to definitely help people understand, what happens behind the scenes and how to track these things on their own. Because right now, so that means, like you guys said, you're going to be doing some LP pairs. So that means you got to swap some of that wrap BNB for stables for different LP pairs. So there should be some movement that people can look at, go, okay, this is where that went. This is where this is now. Here's the new version 3 NFT they got for that, all that stuff. So it's great educational content for sure. Yeah, definitely. So we'll be able to share those things. There'll probably be maybe like a designated wallet or a contract for that also, so we can share that so people can be able to follow that. There's so many tools and stuff nowadays too, with like DBank being one of them. So I know a lot of people check that out, and so all that stuff will be available for the community. We don't have anything to hide. We try to be transparent. So, ultimately, we want to, provide a platform to give people opportunity to make some money. So, we do our part, and then we leave it to, the community to take it from there. I got you. Yep. I definitely appreciate it. That's one reason I'm rocking with you guys, because at least from my perspective, I haven't seen anything questionable or, off kilt that makes me
cautious. So it's like, you guys are out there, you're like you said, you answer a question. Every time I sent you a message, you answer questions, even some of them that may be accusatory in tone. I've heard I'm like that to some people. They don't like my flavor, but I don't care. So at least you're out there answering the questions and stuff like that, and being transparent and showing the receipts. I've sent you addresses saying like, hey, what's this, what's that? And so yeah, from my side, I got nothing but flowers to send you guys, man. I may not like the chart, I ain't profitable, nothing's positive in that regard, but that's DeFi. And that's one thing I do want to stamp on as well, because I think it was KK, he might be still in the chat there, but shout out to him. It's all about the expectation and stuff. And a lot of us getting into drip back in the day, we FOMO'd, we didn't have all the tools to do their own research. We didn't understand the space as much. It was one of our first, go ham projects, all this stuff. So the reason there was a lot of animosity and frustration is mainly because people were over leveraged, essentially. So now, even though I'm wrecked here on the dollar value dashboard divs and haven't collected anything, I'm more comfortable with it. One, I've been seasoned. Two, I didn't put in more than I wanted to, like I did last time. So I know you guys can't control that.
What was your play? How did you hit it?
What, DripX?
Yeah.
I went with 1,000 total, and this is the wallet here. So just 1,000 total. I did some short-term miners, like a couple 8. I think it went like straight down the chart, 8, 11, 13, 24, something like that. And then I did some 60. I was just looking at the Bitcoin halving cycle, and then I rolled those into stakes already, and I had some liquid, but now I still have a little bit that I claimed, and I put everything back into staking now. So I haven't claimed out anything, but my plan was, and somebody just beat me to it, was I knew that there would be a dump on day 8, and I think I got in like within the first 5 minutes, and so I was in early, but whoever got in like within the first seconds of being able to mine and was able to dump within the first seconds of their 8-day stakes coming mature, they were able to just liquidate the chart. And then by the time I got to it on day 8, it was like maybe 2 hours or so after. And yeah, there was nothing for me to sell. So my plan was to take some profits in the liquid DripX that I got from the miners. But once I saw the charts, I was like, well, too late. I missed that boat. So now it's just rolling things into longer term stakes. But point is, I went in with a lot less capital than I did in Drip.
Yeah, for sure. So I think in hindsight, so like the 8-day was in a way was kind of like I guess you could say like a reverse launch. With hype launches, people are usually getting in and they're trying to snipe the chart and stuff like that. It might be hard to get that launch price. So we kind of saw the same thing, but like in reverse action with the 8-day payouts, everybody trying to sell profit as quick as possible.
Yep.
So I think in hindsight, a little longer stakes. Like I personally, I didn't do any 8-day stakes. I think my shortest one was at like 15. So I did 15, and I start laddering around 30 days, 30, 31, 40, 45, 50, 100, those.
Right.
Those I think a little bit more profitable. I think even right now at the current price, I think the 15-day stake is around like 20% profitable, especially with the D rank. So that one was, pretty good. The staking payouts, I did, early staking. I went ahead and locked tokens for the max. So again, I don't know how long you staked, but depending on
the max,
the length,
max.
Yeah. You did really well with the first, like that first payout. Now, of course, with the 8-day miners, that kind of diluted the staking pool, because there was no, prior to that, there was no miners that entered the staking pool. So depending on when you do that. So I guess for some people who may have done shorter term miners who really weren't really profitable with the short term, those probably would be better served staking to create their staking position.
Yep.
And then from either that or maybe they could claim those, take some of the BNB that they have and then create new miners to extend it for a little bit longer period of time to kind of recoup whatever percentage, ROI they missed on the shorter term. So that's an option for you as well. And then from there, you can, again, we talked about Viper. You can create a strategy where maybe you intentionally have some miners that are specifically for staking, and you have some miners that you maybe want to use to take profits from. And then, ultimately using, some portion of that to continue to keep the system going, create more miners, more stakes, that type of deal. So
Right,
You know,
right.
it was all learning, kind of like what you alluded to with, with Drip, now being a lot more seasoned investor. I think, a lot of that same thing happens with TitanX, so I guess DripX as a protocol, we kind of get both of that, because we
Right.
have people, we have people who've been in Drip. They're a lot more seasoned. We have people who were in TitanX, and they were, maybe trying to front run the system and get some quicker gains than what, based off what they saw in TitanX. So we have a level of expectation that was a little bit different than most projects, and things are different. So now that we've kind of seen, after the dust has settled a little bit where things are, now people can really have a more accurate, I guess, slate that they can be able to create their strategy from.
Right, right. With that, so you've kind of been dropping some hints at strategies, and I know this isn't financial advice, but for someone who is a developer, saw TitanX, has made some changes to the ecosystem in regard to sustainability, is forecasting different things mathematically for what this is going to do, what would be your, not financial advice, but mathematical equation for like these little fish, these ones looking to grow up, people that have, that 0.1 BNB is all that they have available, maybe once a week to invest, and they're looking to try to do that. I know they're not going to, make millions, but if someone's like, okay, this is all I got, what is like the best play in this ecosystem with very little capital to minimize losses, so to speak, not become an overnight millionaire, but just from a mathematical standpoint and what you guys have designed, how would you advise them to play this, mathematically speaking? Not advise, of course, from a math standpoint.
Suggest, recommend, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So the thing is, again, it comes back down to the miners. So the longer that you create a miner, of course, there is a little bit more level of risk, but there's also more reward. So your money stretches a lot further the further that miner goes out. So you could take, 0.1 BNB and stretch it for 40, 50 days, and then, wait for that time to expire and potentially come out profitable. So that's it's the same level of opportunity that anybody else has. But, if you're dealing with a little bit less money, you maybe want to do one miner, or maybe a few handful of miners, set them for a little bit longer time periods, which will allow you to get more tokens at the end of that expiration. So that's what I would suggest.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Just wanted to kind of double stamp that idea about the miners being the play, because there's lots of moves within the ecosystem. That's the game theory at work. And oftentimes analysis paralysis, or in marketing, say if you confuse, you lose. So sometimes we just need a simple kind of like, okay, I don't know anything about this. I'm not going to dig into this. What should I be looking at so that I can kind of just get my feet wet, so to speak. So miners is kind of that gateway to unlock a lot of the other stuff in the ecosystem. So that makes sense.
Correct. No, that's exactly it. So the whole idea, in order to keep this ecosystem healthy, the community has to understand that it all starts with miners. So, whichever way that you're attacking it, whether you're just creating miners only and you don't want to stake, or if you're creating miners specifically for staking, both help each other. But the idea is to create miners. So to keep everything flowing in, to be able to tap into the liquidity that we have, you need to be able to create miners to do so. So that's kind of like the lifeblood behind it. Like you mentioned, that's the I guess the first service offering that you could leverage to be able to be profitable within the system, and then from there it opens up a few other options for you.
Right. Okay, cool. Well, let's see if I can get to some of these questions, man. The chat's been jumping off and I ain't been paying them no attention, man. You guys know I'm horrible at this live stream, man. I just start talking. That's why I do just on my own, because I ain't got to worry about anybody else on the stream and try to manage all this stuff. So let's see what we got. Too much foreplay about BTC. So we already covered all that. Using V3 revenue is not the same as using BNB as stated in the white paper. I don't know what that means. Yeah,
I think they were talking about the buy and burn pool.
Okay.
So again, that kind of it's DeFi. Some things are a little out of our control. We talked about a little early on that Pancake Swap inverse that DripX, that Wrap DripX pool. So we're not able to support it in the way that we intentionally wanted to, but we still want to support it nonetheless. So that's one way that we found a way to continue to support Wrap Drip is through providing liquidity to Wrap Drip and providing liquidity to DripX Wrap Drip. Creates an arbitrage opportunity for people. Got some else up our sleeve too, but we dropped enough alpha here on today. I had to save it for another one.
Okay, so you holding back. So yeah, we'll just wait for Viper and then circle back around or something like that. Might have to have you as an honorary guest, man, once every couple of weeks and see what's going on. Seems like you guys keep moving, which is good, so I like that. Poll strip? Nah, we ain't doing poll strip. Can they add dates to miners and stakes?
I think you're talking about expiration dates, maybe.
Possibly, not sure.
We'll check that out. It might be something we could fit in. I know that managed miner tab is pretty packed already. We tried to. I know we got some initial feedback after we launched, wanted to make it a little bit larger so people can don't have to scroll as much. So it's pretty jam packed with a lot of information in there. We'll talk about it with the team. See if we can maybe put some dates in there also.
So tight you can't fit commas in there, man. That's crazy. Yeah. Now, real talk though, is that like a Solidity thing? Because you guys aren't the only ones that do that. Like I've seen it on other UIs as well. So is that something regarding Solidity and programming that it requires some additional work to actually get commas or what?
Yeah, a little bit. I think with developers, it's just kind of one of those things. We've kind of like with all of our projects, we've kind of it's kind of grown to be a thing. So it's like for us, we more embraced it kind of like a trademark. But yeah, I think it's maybe a common deal amongst developers.
Okay. I thought it was a limitation in like the coding itself, and you had to like write it different or something like that.
I don't think so. I think it's just more like just a common thing amongst coders.
Interesting. Okay. All right. What about weighing the Viper service fees depending on the miner cost? So I actually talked to you about this and it was popping off back and forth in the chat. But you guys have gone with 0.1 BNB fixed. So I guess give B Free some insight as to why not the variable based off of the length and the duration cutting off versus the fixed rate.
The biggest thing is simplicity. We wanted to create, make it simple. One thing we did, which we didn't necessarily have to do, we wanted to get some community input. It caused a whole nother, I guess,
yeah, it did.
a life of its own. We had a conversation. Eric wanted to do 0.1. I was like, maybe we should do 0.05. We was like, all right, let's see what the community thinks. And then now it's developed into why not do it variable based on the amount of length and stake and stuff like that. So you also, kind of what you just mentioned with Solidity and different things, there are certain limitations and certain things, complexities. So this is a lot more simple solution that we can do. You start tinkering with a lot of different things. It gets more complex. Starts altering other things within the system. Those things cost money. So it's something that we wanted to keep it simple, a flat rate. It's a service that people can use or they don't have to use. So it's not like a mandatory deal. So we just wanted to keep it simple. We thought that 0.1 BNB was a decent fee. So that's why we kept it that way.
I got you. Yep, simplicity. Yeah. It's gotta do that sometimes. And everybody's got an opinion on stuff and how to do things and whatnot. You were a trainer, so you can relate to this in fitness. Everybody, you write somebody a program, they're like, why don't I do this? Why don't you swap this out with this? It's like, well, you know what to do so bad. Why did you hire me?
The girls only want to do glutes and the guys only want to do chest.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to eat this. I don't want to do that. Well, then don't hire me. Don't give me my money. Just go and do this on your own then, because I'm trying to tell you what you need, whether you like it or not. So I can relate to that. All right. Senor Rojo, he was asking about, so basically if I use Viper, I lose 50% of the tokens. That's incorrect, right? You gain your D rank and all the tokens, but you're early ending the stake and you just get penalized, quote unquote, that 0.1 BNB.
Yeah, so I wouldn't even call it a penalty. It's like saying you go to the gas station and you know, buy a soda and you get penalized for paying for the soda. So
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah,
I wouldn't call it a penalty. It's more of a benefit to the user. You
right.
don't lose 51% of your tokens. It's just we allow you to expedite what you would have gotten into the staking pool 50 or 49%
Earlier.
earlier, yeah, than you would have if you didn't. So
Yeah, so
it's
it's
a
more like
win-win.
a service fee, expedite fees. Like whenever you want to get things like Amazon, you know, if you want Prime, you pay to get you're gonna get your item regardless. But if you want it early, you got to pay a little extra.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Solid, transparent. Hey, what up, KK? 15 to 16. Yeah, so drip fortune mentioned in the 15, 16 days are still negative. So that's kind of what we touched on. So basically, the way things are shaping up now, it's pushing people. If they want to make this profitable and make this work for them, they got to start looking at longer durations. That's just the only way to win.
Yeah. So if you got in day one and you made a 15 or 16 day miner, then that miner is likely profitable because of the D rank bonuses.
Right.
Right now, if you were to create a miner today, you probably want to push it around 20 to 30 days. For it to be a little bit more profitable. So that's, you know, ultimately when you're creating your miner, you have to do that decision for yourself and figure out where within that line that you want to create. But now, you know, now a 20-day miner, you know, with Viper coming out is like a 10-day miner. So you you can play it that way and ultimately decide what's profitable for you in that regard.
Okay. Blockhead asks, are you planning to burn wrap drip soon or down the road? I didn't know that was even a discussion topic.
That's not really a like a deal burning wrap drip. I think a lot of people will get caught up with the burn drip narrative because drip was so hyperinflationary with the faucet.
Right.
The community wanted to burn it to reduce the supply. So now it's not really more so like a burn type deal. It's just more so maybe locking it up or pairing it with liquidity. So we're continuing to pair wrap drip with DripX liquidity. We've already done over, I think, around like $40,000 in pairing since that first day 8 came out. So those are a lot of things, you know, people don't really see behind the scenes. You know, even though like the buy and burn may not necessarily be still going directly through wrap drip, you know, we're still putting a lot of money into wrap drip. And it just kind of goes unseen. Yeah.
I definitely see that. Like right now, of course, drip is back down again with all this stuff because of course there are people swing trading and bought it low and flipped and whatnot. But the fact that the tax vault sitting at 2.4 million, and I ran the numbers before, so we haven't minted in 12 days. And the last, when I did these averaged out this last month, I think the average was like 300K a day. So that's going to continue to go down. And as long as, you know, the mechanics over on DripX are operating as they are, then technically you are kind of burning drip tokens, wrap drip by extension. So you just got to kind of let these things play out now the way that they are. There's not much else that can be done to like accelerate this at this stage, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's also something that we maintained, you know, prior to this. Is just like we knew there was going to be a level of volatility. We knew there was going to be ups and downs. So it's like, you know, now that it's here, you know, nothing's really changed. You know, you just have to understand like these things take time.
Right, exactly.
Course, so
so
we'll see. You know, it's kind of to be determined.
Yeah, 2 years of inflation can't be undone in 2 weeks. It ain't that easy.
It is not.
So Andreas asked about NFT properties and Dune Analytics. So the Dune Analytics, I can answer that one. That comes from community members. So I don't believe you guys have the time or capacity to put anything out for Dune Analytics. But NFT properties, that's on Tofu, right?
Yeah. So one thing that we are doing, just to kind of give people, I guess, some more insight of what's going on. We did submit a couple audits prior to launch. You know, security is like a, you know, top priority for us as well. So what we did submit another audit to OXGuard. We tweeted about it. That should be coming up within the next coming days. They should be finished this week. So that way we can make sure everything is tip top. We at least did as much due diligence as we can to make sure that there aren't any vulnerabilities in the code and stuff like that. And then from there we can open up the contracts, verify them all on the blockchain. So that way people who do want to create other analytic type dApps or Dune analytics, stuff like that, they have more access to be able to read functions within the contract to be able to create those things. So that's something that's in the works right now, something that we've done since we've launched. In regards to the NFTs, so they're transferable now. We did run into a small issue that we fixed right after launch. It was like a gas issue, being able to calculate the amount of gas to send the NFT. You can now send them freely between using Tofu as a good tool that you can use it, or you can send it through your MetaMask wallet. If you click on info on the actual NFT, it'll tell you basically the D rank, or that's the D rank number is pretty much the NFT number.
Token ID, you mean?
The token ID. Yeah, exactly. So
this is a D rank number. Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. So that's how you can identify what NFT is which. Something else on our to-do list is to create like what we call a miner lookup or NFT lookup, where you'll be able to grab that ID number, that token ID, and be able to search it to get some more stats on like its profitability, how long it's staked for, that type of deal. Nice. So that way, if you're going to buy it off the market from somebody else, you can get a little bit more stats and make an informed purchase decision. So that's something else that we're going to implement. That's on our to-do list. But right now, at least they are transferable. So if you want to transfer them to another wallet, or if you want to gift it to somebody, you're able to do that right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, and that's something that kind of gets overlooked with how you guys have already made changes to the Titanx ecosystem and what they had with their dApp, making these miners as NFTs, the stakes as NFTs, transferable, all this stuff. That's creating an entire marketplace and more use cases for this. So I mean, like you said, we just mentioned, you got to kind of let the stuff play out now, and all the changes are already there. The foundation is laid, and now it's just a matter of getting the community on board and kind of marketing and things of that nature, and just more support, and then let it move naturally,
Yep, exactly.
This is a question I actually had. I never asked. I'm glad Edgar Alexander brought it up. After a stake is done, do we receive those DripX tokens back?
You do.
Okay. So
you can take them and sell them for profit, or restake them if you want.
Interesting. So you have this infinite loop then. So now, just kind of playing devil's advocate, what is how does that work long term? So like in regards to not necessarily inflation, because those are the same tokens, but definitely from a staking dividend payout. If you have people that were able to get a ass ton of tokens, they get them, they're getting nice BNB payouts, and then they're just recycling these tokens back into the system without any depreciation.
So it all comes back down to shares. So that's where the depreciation lies. Once you actually stake the token value doesn't matter as much, because you received a set amount of shares based on the amount of tokens you deposited. So after your stake has expired, then you're no longer getting dividends on that stake for one.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But then once you claim that stake and then you re-enter, you're also re-entering with less shares. So you're not getting the biggest share of the pool because you're having to re-enter at
right. Okay. Yeah. And if you keep doing that, eventually you're just kind of moving down the food chain. So you're getting pennies. So, okay. That makes sense.
That's why we incentivize, the longer staking period. So you get that bonus. So you're pretty much, if you're staking for 3,500 days, you're pretty much getting payouts for the duration of the life cycle of the whole project. So we encourage those longer stakes, but if you do decide that you want to do a shorter term stake, you do get those tokens back. But if you want to re-enter, you're re-entering at a higher share rate.
Gotcha. Okay. It looks like we're getting to the end of this because Drip Fortune, I guess he was in the VC, was talking about that using the V1 pool to buy miners from day 8 to 12. Well, actually, he says V2, but I'm assuming it's what we were talking about was V1 because V2 is already allocated with the default buy and burn. He says buy miners from day 8 to 12 from time to time, puts the money back in the staking pool. And that's what you're talking about, V1, right?
Yeah, that's something we could do with the V1 rehypothecation is buy miners, fill in those shorter day, pools or shorter mining days, I should say. And
Gotcha.
that'll feed the staking payouts as well as the V2 buy and burn pool.
Okay. Cool. All right. Stop sellers. Yeah. Think that's it. Could a tax be applied to sales on V3?
No, I think there's actually an issue with taxable tokens on V3.
Oh, that's right.
That's more.
Yep.
I think that's more like if you want to do that, you had to do it on V2. I know that was something that was like that also created like a little uproar. I think again, we talked about a lot of people spitballing ideas. So I think Ray had an idea and just threw it out there to his community and just shared it. It was asking about if there should be a tax added. So that kind of created a little bit mixed emotions. Some people, oh yeah, we should add a tax, or some people say no, we shouldn't add a tax. I had got a lot of messages. I think I just woke up on a Saturday. They're like, are you adding tax to a token? I'm like, what are y'all talking about?
Yeah.
And I think Ray even recanted that. It was like, oh, you know what? It wouldn't even work on V3 anyway. So
right.
That's something that I think with that's fairly new, that V3 liquidity is not really favorable with tax tokens. And since we're on V3 anyway, right. I don't think that would be a possibility. So
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
We wouldn't be looking to implement tax.
That's the pros and cons of this community, man. They're passionate, and so you get ideas or you get a couple people spitballing stuff, and then it becomes gospel. It's like, who wrote that on the stone tablets? Like, I don't even know what y'all talking about, man.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit. So sometimes you have to wait for like an official announcement, I guess, from the team just to make sure that things are what they seem to be before jumping to any conclusions.
Yep. But that's also the double-edged sword of content creators. Like, we're looking for content, so we spitball ideas out there. We're just talking, and then not necessarily saying that's what's going to happen, but yeah, it takes on a life of its own real quick.
It's good though. I'll take it. I rather that than nobody talking about it at all. So
that's true. Yep. That's true. All right, last question. We'll wrap it up, man. We're coming up on an hour and a half, so I appreciate you sticking around. With Viper, does the stake add to your shares? Shout out to Bosch.
Yeah, so each stake, basically you have each stake has its own share rate. So basically, if you in Viper or you Viper a miner into your staking, that's going to create a totally new stake. And then I guess, amongst all your stakes, you have a average share rate or a total share rate between all your stakes. So that's kind of how it works. So each stake has a life of its own. A few people have asked that question. If I add a new stake, can I add to an existing stake? So it doesn't quite work that way where you add to an existing stake, but you add to the group of stakes.
Okay, cool. And I just actually looked at this. I didn't really pay attention to that market value real quick on mine. So yeah, transparency wise, if I were to add up both values, I'm sitting right at basically at current prices, a break even ROI, like a slight, maybe 10% profit. Interestingly enough, right now, that'll change, of course, but just looking at the dashboard dollar value that's here, because that's just the market value. That's not the payouts and stuff like that. So correct. That's cool. That's cool for me to see that at least what's there is still kind of what I put in.
Yeah. And so, again, once you're into the staking, like I said, it doesn't matter as much unless you are wanting to get those stakes back at a shorter duration. Otherwise, the staking pool is based on the share rate. So if you were to stake for 3,500 days, like for instance, I did a couple of stakes myself for 3,500 days prior to the miners expiring. Those tokens are nowhere near valued what they were previously.
Right.
But I was able to get a lot more BNB back based on my early entrance in into the share pool. So it varies. It's something that you want to be able to maintain You know, like anything else that you care about, whether it's your car or whatever, you got to change that oil, keep everything up to date, so that way you can continue to cruise these DeFi streets. So
exactly. Cool. Well, man, I appreciate it. I'll definitely be keeping the community up to date on my side, especially looking forward now to seeing what Viper is going to do, and all the stuff you guys, even what you hinted at, some more stuff coming up that you haven't done yet. So I like what you guys are doing. I appreciate you taking the time to answer the hard questions, addressing things, man, head on, being transparent, showing where the money's moving, and trying to support the longevity of the project, as well as keep all the different investors happy. And I know that's a difficult job to balance, man, but you guys, in my opinion, are doing a stellar job. I mean, like I said, I ain't rich, but I ain't wrecked yet either. So I'll take the middle ground.
When they say wag me, we all gonna make it.
That's the goal. That is the goal. Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on, man. It was good to be able to address some things. A lot easier to talk about it than it is to type it out in the chat.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So appreciate the platform allowing me to be able to come and speak about it also.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks again. We'll definitely chop it up again after Viper sometime and kind of just get a pulse on this. Like I said, maybe some kind of reoccurring tap in, every 2 weeks or something like that. I ain't trying to dominate all your time, but it does help people with the questions that they have. And even though I tell people don't trust but verify, just seeing someone's face, seeing someone answer questions, telling you what's going on, that does give the warm fuzzies for people. That shouldn't be what we use to invest with, because that's just emotions, but it helps. So if it's a service I can do for my community, then I'll continue to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. And we will catch up again later. So thanks for stopping in. Catch you guys also